You know the frequency, yeah. You know the frequency. Come on. You know the frequency, yeah. You know the frequency. I've been upgrading my frequency. I've been protecting my energy. I've been upgrading my frequency. No matter what, I protect my energy. Yeah. We are back. We are finally back with another episode of the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. I'm your host, B. Carter.
Double D, Derek Demers.
Charlie P.
And we got a special guest. I want to say we're going to do it with...
Costs a lot of money, man. He costs a lot of money. Oh, my God.
And he's a guest host also because he's going to be here for the full show.
Right.
He goes by the name of Davey. What's the name of your podcast again?
Yeah, it's Dad Life with Davey on YouTube, all platforms.
Dad Life with Davey on YouTube. Go check it out. We're gonna get to know this brother, but we've been gone for a while. And how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
You good? Okay? What do you mean okay? Your daughter graduated from what's the
college,
state?
yeah, I had a great weekend, great day yesterday. Seeing her shine and graduate college was amazing. I'm so proud of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm always proud of my kids, but very much proud of my daughter making that milestone. So,
Did you celebrate?
yeah, we had a little celebration after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of celebration, a little bit.
Yeah.
Charlie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man.
I can't see you behind the screen now. We gotta move the screen. I can't see your face. Charlie is taking Edmund's spot.
Where is he, Slacker?
Yeah, he's slacking.
It's Slacker, man.
Yeah.
What can Brown do for you? Nothing.
How was your Mother's Day, guys?
Mother's Day was great, man.
Mother's good, man.
Yeah?
We had a good Mother's Day.
Yeah, that's good. How was
Yeah, it was good, Mike. My mom's in Florida, but FaceTime a little bit and say hello. My sister was there, so I was happy my sister was in Florida with her.
All right. Oh, she went to Mother's Day? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she went for 9 days, so
That's cool.
Mother's Day was in the middle of it.
Yeah, I had a little breakfast with my moms, got her some flowers, celebrating my moms and everything like that, me and my brother. So it was a good day.
Yes.
Now, you ever notice, it's funny, like, I work for UPS and, I deliver to, these retail stores, right? Mother's Day, you get a lot of boxes, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of boxes. But then the Father's Day comes.
I knew that was coming.
The Father's Day comes. You get that one box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It goes, you can't ignore the signs there. It's not right.
It's a woman's world.
It is a woman's world. They don't say that. They don't say it's a woman's world. They say, men run the world. I disagree with that one.
I think women run the world for
yes,
sure.
Yeah, yes. For sure. And we're going to get into this. We're going to talk about this. So we have a couple of good topics. Obviously, we're going to interview Davey and get to know his podcast and what he's all about, his podcast is all about. We're also going to get into this Diddy trial with Cassie testifying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels to this. And I've been having conversations with my friends throughout the weekend about it and different perspectives. And I also been paying attention to what people have been saying online that I want to discuss and see what your guys' opinions on it. And then we're going to get into, obviously we talk a lot of things about political. We're going to talk about the FAA and their issues and other things of what's going on with this administration we're gonna talk about. So we got a good show ahead of us. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I'm ready to get going. Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, David, let's get to you first.
All right, man. All right. I'll go first though.
All right, so I always stop our interviews.
Okay.
I didn't discuss it with you before, we started getting ready because I wanted to not trick you, but it's something I want you to think about and answer right on the spot.
Okay, we can do that.
So if you had an opportunity to have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would that be?
Dead or alive, anybody in the world?
Anybody in the world, dead or alive.
My wife, bro. Straight up.
Ooh.
Straight up. Every time. She's the one I want to have.
Okay, you gotta explain this one.
Yeah.
Because I don't know your wife. So, you know
No,
what I'm
you
saying?
don't.
So,
Yeah, you
I don't
don't.
know your wife, so you need to explain this.
My wife, man, she's probably the most special guy I ever met in my life. Man.
Yeah.
I met her on my 18th birthday. I'm 39 now. I just turned 39. So I've been with her for over 21 years, bro. You know what I mean? So and to be with somebody that long, you guys can imagine that's got to be a special connection. You know what I'm saying? And to be real, everything I have going on right now, the whole reason I'm on your show, Dad Life with Davey, there'd be no Dad Life with Davey without my wife Kate. You know what I'm saying? So she holds me down, she supports me, man. So and we got 3 kids, man. So we don't have a lot of time to have dinners to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I had to pick somebody to have dinner with, it'd be my wife Kate every time.
Wow. That's love, right?
That's it, man. Your Father's Day's gift's gonna be tremendous.
No, he getting 2 bars. It's now 1.
He's working, but that's what he's saying now, okay?
That's not what I'm doing. I'm doing that whether the mic's in my face or not, man.
All right.
But would you ask?
How old are your kids?
So my oldest, what's up? Shout out to my kids. I know they're listening. My oldest, Easy, he's 7. My daughter Coco, she's 4, and my baby Makoa just turned 10 months. So what's up, guys? I love you.
That is awesome.
Nice.
I love kids. I got a 21 and a 19-year-old, 21 and 20-year-old. So
you're way ahead of me.
I miss those ages though.
Yes, it's fun.
Enjoy it. It's so special.
We try to go so slow, man. And everybody always says, "Oh, it goes by so fast," but we try to take it and live in such the moment that it's not going by fast for us right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm enjoying all the little milestones, all the little, the little things they're excited to tell me about and stuff.
Right.
Like we just soak it up, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to really get deep into dad life for Davey. Yeah. So let's get into dad life.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't have kids, but this is my perspective. Even dabbling with, I've dated with people who had children and everything like that. So I want to get, everyone here has children and their perspective, and you having children, right? Mm-hmm. As a man, this is coming from a man, like a father, dad life, right? Yeah. It's coming, it's coming from a perspective where, do you feel like once you had kids, you found your purpose?
100%. Oh yeah, without a doubt. I don't have to hesitate for that one, man. I fully believe, I've done a lot of cool stuff in my life, man. You know what I mean? I've enjoyed my ride. But once we had kids, that's when I feel like I woke up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a very conscious thinker. I like to think of myself that. But when I had kids, man, that's when the whole world changed for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I started to see everything in a different light. I stopped living for myself or I started living for them. You know what I mean? And that's a positive thing, man. Powerful thing. You know what I mean?
Because I feel like, and Derek, you could interrupt me when I say this, give your perspective. That I feel like as men, that's our reward. Our reward is to provide. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure when you have kids, it gave you a little boost to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
You have a reason to get up, to provide for your family.
Yeah.
That's your reward, to see that they have this.
Your wife.
Your why.
That's your wife.
Your why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's our reward.
Yeah.
And to see them happy, to see them, you provide things for them. Is, I don't think, I think men need to speak on that more. Yeah. Because it's not something that we look to get rewarded from. No. It's an internal feeling that we have that, is like, I always, I'm on the show, I always not depict, but you have women and you have men, and I think we're different, even though we're equal.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But our motivations are different. Where I feel with women, they want to get flowers, right? We don't need that. We have that internal gratification of that smile on your face that I just gave you.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Am I wrong saying that?
No, yeah, you're right, man. You're right. It's I think, being a man and having kids, just waking up every day and making them breakfast, or seeing them just excited to play with one of their new toys, or putting on a cartoon that they want to watch with you. You know what I mean? Like, all those little things, that's my reward. That's why I work my long hours. That's why I, do everything I do. I sacrifice my time and efforts just to make sure that they have the best life possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but with that being said, like I know, you know, I can speak on my own personal experiences. So I know my wife does the same thing, man. You know what I mean? I feel like she's not the kind of girl that needs material things. You know what I mean? She's not out here looking for jewelry and things like that. She's looking for the same goals as I have. You know what I mean? To make our kids' lives the most special lives possible. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I alluded to before, the amount of love me and my girl have for each other, it's like we can just pump that right into our kids. And not only that, show them an example of two people that love each other, so that way they have something to aspire to and to grow into as they get older. You know what I'm saying? That's so important.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, you mentioned men need to provide. Like to me, and especially in this day and age, men need to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like forget. I mean, yes, provide, but provide to me comes second. You need to be there. You need to be present.
Yes.
You need to be an example for your kids.
Yep.
Whether you're divorced or not. I got divorced my kids where I believe they were like 10 and 7, 11 and 8. You know, we co-parent very well, but you can still make it work.
Yeah, it doesn't stop you
but you need to be involved with your kids.
Of course.
You know, and I see so many kids that are not. I see so many people on my Facebook that you know, bashing the baby daddy and stuff like that, or vice versa. And you know, that just doesn't work for the growth of that kid, in my opinion.
No, I think a male presence in a child's life, whether it's a little girl or a little boy, is so important. So important. You know, a lot of the stuff I talk about on my show has to deal with that. It has to deal with, you know, being there for the kids, showing up for the kids. You know what I mean? I don't care that you're tired. I don't care. We're all tired.
Right.
And my show's a safe space to talk about that. But just because you're tired, you still got to show up. You know what I mean? And that's so important.
Your little kid doesn't understand, like after you worked all day, right? You say a physical or mental job, whatever job you have, right? You're like beat. You just want to maybe sit down.
You want to relax.
And they want to throw the ball for a little bit. They don't understand how mentally exhausted you are, or physically exhausted. You know, they just, so you have, like you said, you just got to like step up.
You got to man up
and do it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's excitement for them. They want to do it, you know?
Yeah. There's so many kids out there that don't even have a dad to come home to, or have a not even just a dad, like, because, you know, I had a lot of uncles around when I was a kid too, you know what I mean? And, you know, but there's kids that don't have those male role models. They might be raised by a tribe of women, which is beautiful. You know what I mean? It's fine. I love the women out there that are out there being single mothers and supporting kids. But, you know, having a male in a child's environment, man, it shows that you don't have to be, as a grown-up, too cool to be a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, my whole mission is to show that being a parent is one of the coolest things you can do. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of friends that watch the show and subscribe to my YouTube that don't have kids, and they love it. Just because of the simple fact that, like, we can all agree on certain values and stuff together. You know what I mean? You don't have to have kids. I know you said you don't have kids. You don't have to have them to understand, like, what's right is right. You know what I mean? And you know, and it's been a great ride so far. It's been nice.
Your YouTube channel is blowing up, by the way. Dad Like with Davey. You can check it out, people.
Appreciate it.
But, you know, I'll say, you know, you said you were 39.
Yes.
Your oldest is 7.
Yep.
So that puts you having a kid, because I don't know you at all, so, right?
Yeah.
So that puts you having a kid at 32 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think, like, because I feel like you're very into being a dad, obviously, right?
Sure.
Does the age have something to do with it? Because we see a lot of kids that are having kids in their early 20s or whatever that are not present. You know, we're talking about dads that are not present. So I feel like that age dynamic has something to do with it also.
100%.
Maturity.
I think, you know, my girl, anybody that knew me when I was younger could attest to this. I wasn't mature when I was young. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was running around getting into trouble. You know what I mean? And, you know, a big part of me having kids in our 30s is I'm just so much more aware of myself. I'm so much more mature. You know what I mean? Where if I had kids in an early age, in my teens or my 20s, I definitely probably wouldn't be the same father I am today. Maybe I would have got there, but the journey would have been totally different.
And you know, that being said, you might not have made it there with your wife, just because of the dynamic of, you know, you're doing maybe some crazy stuff, or you're maturing, you're out with your friends. And
well, I think I had no choice. I think she was going to keep me on the path no matter what.
You
know what I mean?
That's good. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of that's the negativity when we talk about, like, parents and the lack of father in the household or whatever, or in the kid's life, I should say. I think some of it is the age when they start so young.
I think so too.
And they're not ready.
I do, man. You know, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity I have now to speak on being a dad. and do with my channel what I'm doing, and just making the connections I'm making. You know what I mean? Somebody I wanted to shout out was a dude named Terminology. I'm sure you guys might have heard his music. He's a beast, but he started this thing called Good Dad Gang, and just through my scrolling through social media and my connections, I got put on to this guy and in his movement, and they actually just became a nonprofit. And their whole message is all about, supporting and being supportive of present dads.
Yeah.
Dads that are active in kids' lives, dads that are like hyped to be a dad. You know what I mean? And I feel like when I was a kid, I don't remember dads being hyped to be a dad. I feel like I remember dads being like, oh, damn, I got to go pregnant. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it was more of the dad wasn't in the delivery room delivering the baby. He was, smoking a cigarette in the street with his boys waiting to hear that the kid was born.
Right.
And me, all three of my kids, I was the one cutting that umbilical cord, man. Like, you couldn't stop me from doing that. You know what I mean?
I was in the room too. I was born to be a dad. Just so you know, I was born to be a dad.
That's great, man.
I love it. So I can relate to that for sure.
So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
What made you want to start this YouTube channel? Oh, I'm sorry. What's wanted you to start this YouTube channel, and what about this topic that you decided to use for this YouTube channel?
Yeah, so I had the idea originally to do a podcast, and it was basically going to be about video games, right? Because I'm a big video game player, and I had the idea in the works for a few years. I follow a couple people on Instagram and social media land. I was kind of studying how they do things and getting some tips from them. There's this dude, developer Adam, on Instagram, who I love his style. Kid's awesome. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to almost mimic that, but do it in a podcast form. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to do it with people. And you guys know, trying to pull people together and get on the same schedule is one of the hardest things in the world.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So eventually, I just kind of said, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself, man. So I started the YouTube channel. I made 7 videos before I even made it public. You know what I mean? I wanted to make videos, have enough, and then I started doling them out to friends and getting advice, feedback. Some of my friends, clean up the audio, make it shorter, do this and that. So I took advice from everybody. And and then I launched it on February 20th. So it hasn't even been 3 months yet. And the growth is crazy.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Yeah. And so like I said, so I didn't anticipate to talk about being a dad. It was just going to be video games. But the only way I could make a video was when all my kids were asleep, my wife went to bed with the baby, I'd crawl downstairs in my studio in the basement, and as I'm talking about video games to the camera, I'm folding a basket of towels.
Yeah.
So that way I'm justifying, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not just wasting time in the basement. I'm doing chores for the household, but I'm also talking about a video game. And that, my friends were like, bro, you're just doing dad stuff, bro. Like, this is dad life. Then it led me into talking more about being a dad. And because, at first when you start something, you're not comfortable yet.
Yep.
And you don't even know what you sound like, what you look like on video. And once I started getting the feedback from everybody and hearing how much people were like, yo, I can relate to that. I empty the dishwasher just like that. You know what I mean? And then we started getting, friends on the show and stuff like that. And it's turned into something different, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things about being a dad that I think that doesn't really get talked about, or I don't think that society deems important.
Yeah.
And I think because, do you feel like in society today, a man's voice is being muted?
Yeah, I feel like nobody wants to hear you complain. No one. And we have a household where my wife wants to hear if I'm stressed out. She wants to hear what's going on with me, but I don't want to put that on my wife. Like, she has her own stresses. I watched her give birth to 3 children, natural births. Mm-hmm. Anything I'm going through, it ain't nothing compared to what she went through. So who am I to put that on her? So I keep it to myself. And, I feel like that's where we're lacking. We need that place to be able to talk about how tough it is, how tired you are, how stressed you are. You know what I mean? Even on my channel, it's funny. Shout out to my boy, Jeff. We were talking about this the other day. Follow him on Instagram, Mr. Liddell, if you want to laugh. That's another dad who just makes people laugh, man. He's making people smile. We were talking about the other day, and we were saying that how once you start getting haters commenting on your YouTube channel, which it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Instagram, I'm sure you guys get it in Facebook.
Yeah.
They're out there, they're waiting to shoot you down. You know what I mean? But what they say, when you get haters, that means your content's being showed to a much broader audience.
Right.
Mhm.
So I actually got some haters on my thing the other day. I'm commenting, and can I read a comment?
Yeah,
yeah.
All right, let me pull it up because this was wild, and it came out of complete left field. So I got it pulled up. So I don't know who this dude is, Dan Hovader. So I had a video. It was a short on YouTube.
You're putting out names.
Yeah. No, he needs to be known. He needs
Yeah.
to be known. So it was a short on YouTube, and it was basically me and my childhood friend Amos. Shout out to Amos. He started a clothing brand that's supportive of dads being active, getting off the couch. He has a group run, a run group. Just being present dads. Basically what I'm doing, you know what I mean, in his form. So we have a video, and it was us just talking about being dads and vibing together and how special it is. And like it was a nice video, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So this guy comes out of nowhere and says, I don't know that I agree. Men are built totally different. We are supposed to grind, suffer, and ignore the pain. We go to war, not women. I feel this might be an epidemic of men raised by single women. So that right there, that like dude's trying to pull a trigger on me, man. You know what I mean? He wants me to blow up.
Yeah.
So I respond, and I said, it's okay to disagree here, man. This is a safe space, but please don't take my kindness for weakness or think I'm any less capable of going to war for my family. I'm designed and built for that. But I was also designed with a brain and the ability to articulate my thoughts in a way that makes me understandable to others. So I allow myself to open up and let my guard down when needed. Thank you for sharing your point of view, though, as I do not have all the answers. I'm simply a young father learning and growing every day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Great response, man.
I was just trying to squash that, man, because I don't want any negativity on my channel.
Right.
Like, I make that known, you know what I mean? So I came back again and I said, let me see. I said, also correct me if I'm wrong. I know a lot of women who have fought for this country and continue to go to war every day. We love the women on this channel. They're the most beautiful part of this earth. So he comes back again. I don't know a single woman who has experienced combat. They are not on the front lines for a reason, hormones. So like now I know, all right, this dude's just trying to shock me.
Yeah.
So he's using he knows I have thousands of followers, so he's trying to just put me out there. So I said, I feel bad for your perspective, brother, and I wish you well, and I hope you can educate yourself to a higher level one day. Until then, please unsubscribe because we only foster a positive environment no matter who you are. You are the exact reason that this education is needed. You are one of the reasons I have created what I have. I do not hate. I thank you for showing what I'm up against. #toxic. And then some girl immediately, I don't know if it's a girl or guy, wow, well said. And with that, you gained a subscriber. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's good.
Listen, I want to dive deep into that conversation because I think this is what the society is struggling with. Is it struggling with being an alpha man and a masculine man?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There's totally two different things.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The alpha man is that loud person that I'll punch you in the face and ask questions later. Versus that masculine man is going to try to deal with it in a more domestic, a democracy way, domestic way, where
like a civil way.
Like a civil way. That's what I'm looking for a civil way. But also at the same time can protect, provide, and if I need to be that so-called alpha, I can be. But I also think what I'm hearing through that comment is that we got to look on both sides of this. You have a lot of women, not all, so don't kill me.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, you see how you got to be careful because, again, you have a lot of women have these voices dogging out men, right?
Yeah.
And not appreciating the sacrifice we men take to give them, because I give not give them, but to provide for them. Meaning, and I was just having this conversation earlier. This world, this society, this country is built around women. right? If a woman's in trouble, to his point, if a woman's in trouble, she's not gonna go to another woman. If she's physically, in danger, she's gonna go to a man. So, as much as we should respect a woman's position, women need to respect a man's position.
Of course.
And I think in today's society where women want to say that we're equal, even though we're equal, we're different, is that as much as we need to respect women's position and how important it is, do you feel that, not all, but I'll say maybe most, women respect a man's position? Like, it seems like you have a good rapport with your wife.
Yes.
You communicate with your wife. You chose the right woman to have children.
I did.
She respects you as a man, the things that you need to do, and you respect her as a woman.
Yes.
But do we see a lot of that in society today?
No.
Because the reason being, and this is what I think women dictate society. We just follow. Women make the game, we just play it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they don't want to accept the accountability for that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I think this person's coming through that pain where, like, I'm sacrificing.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a lot of things a man sees in society that a woman don't, because it's our job for you not to see it.
Yeah.
It's our to protect you from it.
Yeah.
So when we're trying to lead you in a way of safety or the right way, you're like, I don't need you. What are you talking about? Because you think you're living in a world, but you're not living in that world, because there's a lot of things we're shielding you off for, because it's our job to protect you from that. And I think in society today, some women are not respecting that.
Yeah.
Am I wrong saying that?
No, I think there's probably a whole group of women that don't give men the respect they deserve. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate enough where I have a woman that does.
Sounds like it.
And I'm telling you right now, I know
when
I'm
to be honest with you, bro.
me too. Still, me too. After 20 years.
Because I'm sure if you have a woman like that, you just want to do everything for her.
100%, man. 100%. I wake up extra early just to make sure I'm cleaning up the kids' toys. I'm folding extra laundry. I mean, you guys watch my YouTube channel. I'm folding laundry in the YouTube channel. Yeah. So she does less. So she has to do less, because I know she does a lot. But I'm fully aware of we are not the norm. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of people I work with, or people I just have conversations with, that, like, they're divorced or they have marital issues, and you know what I mean? And I feel bad for them, because clearly the communication just might not be there. You know what I mean? And I think that's a problem, and I think it's an epidemic in, like, with males, that we're losing the ability to communicate and communicate in a educated way. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's talking to me. Maybe he did have some educated things to say, but an uneducated mouth said it. Yeah. So it just sounded like, oh, girls don't go to war, hormones. Like, you sound ridiculous.
Yeah, that sounds too much.
That sounds childish.
Misogynistic may be too strong of a word, but I feel like it's coming through. What I'm hearing is that he feels like he's not being respected as a man.
Probably not.
You know what I'm
he's
saying?
Projecting his own insecurities and his own pain out.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And where I feel like, and like, I'm going to give you like a little critique, I would have done differently. Don't tell him to subscribe. You want him to keep on listening, because maybe you are
you're right. Yeah,
you are the alley to maybe change his perspective. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Because that's what your YouTube, this is what this is.
Yeah.
Is to have these conversations that we can agree or disagree, or even find different perspectives. Like I always say on this show, is that Derek has a different experience in life. Then I have a different experience in him, but he can teach me as much as I can teach him from our different experiences and different perspectives. When we tell get out of here, we're doing ourselves a disservice in society. You know what I'm saying? So you want to welcome that conversation. You want to welcome that. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's negative, and you don't got to respond all the time, because, be honest with you, if he's listening, you're probably hitting.
Yeah, I'm getting to him.
You're getting to him where he's listening.
He's liking something.
You know what I mean? He's liking something.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And sometimes what, just to piggyback off that, what happens is, Davey may not want to say something additionally to what he critiqued very well, right?
Right.
And then within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, someone's going to comment and say exactly what he says, wants to say in the back of his head,
Yep.
right? And then all it is they're gonna actually, real people, positive people are gonna pretty much say the same thing. So instead of just going out there and throwing a statement, although yours was great, you got 5 stars on
Your
that.
response was great. Yeah, no
Someone
question.
someone's gonna give him a FU statement, right?
Yeah.
And then yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that FU statement. You know, you don't have to say it, but that's what you mean. That's what you want, and your guests are gonna actually support you so much, man.
Because I agree with you though. Because if I had just at all F this guy, you're a loser. Like where does it?
Where's the
Where
lesson?
do we learn?
Yeah, where's the
Right.
lesson?
So that's why I worded it the way I did. You know what I mean? But no, I agree. You're right.
Like you want to welcome.
Yeah.
You want to welcome that.
Yeah.
Because that's where the lesson is. That's just how that's how I believe. Like I want Derek to push back on me. I want our listeners to push back on me. So
that's how you learn.
I want to have a little bit of an argument, a little bit of debate, because that's how you learn it. Because there's not just one way of doing things.
Never.
You know what I'm saying? There's multiple ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But how you supposed to know other ways if you're not allowing people to have their own voice? Well, like, this is how I see life. This is my experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, I figured, like, just welcome that, even though it's negative, it's coming, his tone was negative, but maybe he's coming from a hurt place where, he was trying to do, maybe he lived the life the way you live, and someone did him dirty and didn't respect him.
It has to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And he has every right to feel that way.
Of course.
You know,
I don't walk in his shoes, man.
Yeah.
I can't speak up for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But your response is perfect, and he probably respects your response where he's not going to take offense to it.
Yeah.
He's going to sit back and think about, well, maybe my perspective is wrong.
Yeah.
Let me continue this conversation.
Well, he hasn't responded yet. So.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
For me,
guys. So go ahead, Derek.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Charlie.
Just want to give a shout out to Nora Frakes, first time viewer. Appreciate you.
What's up, Nora? How you doing, girl?
What's up, Nora?
Jamie Lynn's watching. B Mags is watching.
Nice.
Jamie.
Jamie Lane.
That's it.
I just wanted to add to your point before, because you were talking about like your safe space, and I think men need an outlet. You're fortunate that you have that with your wife, but I think I could be wrong, but it might have been last month, but like mental health awareness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when you talk about like men, like, cause that's it's almost like you're ashamed, like being a man, if you cry to a woman or or stuff like that. But men, whether they're like busting their ass at work or the stress of a relationship or a breakup or kids or child support or what have you, right? I feel like they need an outlet to speak to someone, to cry to someone sometimes. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're ashamed sometimes if they break down like that, if they're not like the tough guy, masculine,
like you're less of a man.
Right.
Like I'm not less of a man because I talk about my emotions,
right?
Because I talk about the things I need, you know what I mean, or my desires or whatever. Like I think that's just I'm at a different level in my life where like I think not all men get to that level where they're comfortable with their masculinity, where they can speak about things like this. You know what I mean?
Well, why do you think though?
Because I think when they're taught, like I was taught at a young age, my grandfather would tell us like if you cry, you're a Sally. That was his words, not mine. His words. But basically, he's inferring that if you cry as a man, you're weak. You know what I mean? And you gotta keep all that stuff inside, suck it up. And I remember living my life like that, thinking like feeling guilty if I cried. You know what I mean? Because I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I
feel like it's a lot of it is how you're brought up, and I feel like nowadays they say like like men are getting softer or whatever. I mean, maybe there's like a little bit to that, but I also feel like look at the amount of men that commit suicide because which
more men than women, more men than women.
Their mental health.
The difference is a big difference.
Yeah.
And I think because we're not allowed to cry.
Yeah.
We're not even allowed to cry to our women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had a conversation with one of my friend's girlfriends, and I was like, if my boy cried in front of you, you will look at him differently. And she tried to say, no, I won't. I said, come on, let's have an honest conversation. Sir, let's have an honest conversation. Let's really think. That's the political thing, the completely right thing to say.
Yeah.
Let's have an honest conversation. If he came and he was crying, he just can't deal with this bawling crying, you will look at him differently. And she thought about it, and she said, you know something, bro? You're right.
Shit, you right? Oh man,
You're right.
Yeah.
She made and goes, and that's why men don't show emotion because
They hide it. Yeah.
they hide it,
Yep.
and then you got this pent up hurt, this pent up pain. I can't cry, so what else I'm gonna do? It may come out aggressive now. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And so because now I cannot just release to my woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is where we going back to men are losing their voice. You know, and that then if it's not leading to aggression, it's leading to what we just said, suicide.
Yeah, which is terrible.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're fortunate to have a woman like that that you can be yourself and just kind of relate. But I don't know that that's a majority of the women out there. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel. So I also feel like if you're in a long-lasting, committed relationship, 21 years or what have you, whatever, you could probably do that. But when a guy meets someone like 6 months into it, they're not gonna like.
You can't show
no way.
Listen,
When I first started dating my guy, I wasn't crying on our
right?
first
Yeah.
No, we're gonna get to that point.
Yeah.
We're gonna really get to that point.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of time. There's not, unfortunately.
But think about how stressful that is for a man. Now, if a woman cried on us the first couple of dates,
you're embracing it.
We're embracing it because we are protectors.
Yes.
We want to comfort you.
Yes.
We don't have that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't even cry in front of our friends.
Yeah.
So we're suffering in silence as men, but still have to provide, protect the women and children of this society. That's a lot. And so when men don't have, now they don't have a voice for you to listen to, hey, this is what men are going through. And trust me, like, it's fun doing this show. A lot of times I'll have conversations, people will be in my inbox, or I'll be at work, and I had a guy the other day coming up. Oh man, I don't even want to get into this because he was hurt. He was so hurt. He was coming out of a hotel, and he was just hurt. And he was trying to. He started giving me advice, but then he went into his vent about what he was going through, and I'm like, I could just see the pain in his face. He's like. And he was talking about like, and my wife left me, and she doesn't want to listen, like, just like, yo, man. And he was asking me, he was like, you got kids? Because you have a wife? I was like, nah. She goes, y'all lucky.
Oh man, come on. That's how much pain he was in. Telling you're lucky.
I hear it a lot. I hear it, and I want to have what you have. I want to find that. I want to get that purpose. Like I want that. But then I'm also scared because the people. I don't hear stories.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of painful stories.
Stories where it's like, I was with one of my friends last night, was having a drink, and he was talking about a guy that we went to high school with, and he was with his wife since high school. They left, and she's already engaged to be married, and he's at a bar by himself. Jeez. And he goes, I'm watching him, and I can see the pain in his face. And he has nobody to talk to.
You could take everything away from me, but just let me have my kids, right? And
that's your purpose, child, right?
Yeah.
When you take away the kids, you take away what you work so hard for, you take away your purpose. It's almost like that's why suicide exists. It's taking your will to live.
I mean, I feel when people get divorced, the kids should be 50-50 visitation. That's just my, I know that people use the kids as pawns and whatever, but the kids need a man in their life. More than every other weekend. Something. And some of that is like their fault, 100%, because they could be involved more.
And they don't.
They choose not to.
I woke up the other day. My boy Colin, shout out to Fort Rixon Graham. My homie, he lives in London. He sent me a video, so I'm watching the video, and it was this dude Jordan Stevens. You guys heard of him? So he's from London as well. He's out that way. Shout out to Jordan Stevens on Instagram. So he had a video, and it was a sit down interview, and he was talking about the having a platform and having the ability to show to a wider audience what type of dad you are in order to make it cool, in order to make it acceptable, in order to make it more relevant and more normal. You know what I'm saying? Like you just said, my story, me and my girl, that's a rarity. You've heard very few of those situations. Because situations like mine, most people that are just happy, like, they don't go off and try to do a podcast. They don't go off and try to do YouTube because they're living their beautiful life, man.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like I'm living my beautiful life. I might as well record it because I feel like people need to see that in society.
Right.
Because there's so much things when you open up your feed, right? Whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, don't matter. All kind of negative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we'll probably talk about it later, but that boat crash in the bridge in New York, you know, like 2 people died, man. That's instantly negative news on your thing. Jason Tatum, tourist Achilles tendon, instantly shout out to the Celtics, by the way.
Yes.
It's always negative. So some of my friends that have been following, and you know, even people that I'm not friends with, they just jumped on now that follows. They DM me, they're like, "You don't know how good it was to see you popping up in my feed amongst all the noise, talking about something positive and showing me that it's okay." I got this dude in California, man. He's in L.A. and he messaged me and he's like, so he has Instagram and he's got like 130,000 subscribers. So he's already doing big things, bro. Way bigger than me.
Yep.
But he messaged me and said, "Yo, I just posted a video like you. I'm trying to do things like you because you showed in the time you were talking in 5 minutes, you folded a full basket of towels.
Right.
You showed that it's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You can admit that we have to do this. Like
Right.
everyone in this room has to wash a dish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like we
yes,
don't gotta
thank you.
pretend like we got
Nah, it's
butlers.
cool.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
It's cool to provide for your household
Yes.
and you know, be a dad for your kids. That's cool.
It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And more people need to see it because now your boy that's going through pain, going through stuff, he needs something to grab onto. He needs something to hope for because he can't see stories of negativity all the time.
No.
He needs to see glimmers of hope so he can go, it can get better though.
Mm-hmm.
I can still find the right one or I can fix this situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? People need hope, man. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I like to think my channel's giving some people some sort of hope.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to add something from Jamie Lynn. She says, love the dialogue. Men are human beings having physical, mental, emotional, spiritual experiences like us. All 4 elements make the being. All 4 elements are worthy of support, grace, and attentiveness. Oh boy, sound like Berto. Yeah. Yes, the scale is heavy on provide and protect, but I'm convinced men do these things more efficiently when you're aware of supported in all 4 areas. When you're aware and supported in all 4 areas. Sorry, my old man eyes here. So, see, and that's a good mom. That's a good person. You know, definitely parenting with her hubby. You know, they're doing a great job. And look what she comes up with. She sees it, you know, and that's important. It's important, just like, you know, Davey, when you go home and your wife seeing what you're doing, like you said, folding the clothes and doing this. It's everyone's got to do their thing, you know. So, but and I try to do my thing, you know.
Let me ask you guys, because when you're having kids, you've all been married and you had kids, because I believe as powerful as a man's physical advantage towards a woman's voice is just as powerful.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I don't think women really understand that. And if they do, they may use it to their advantage in a negative way, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a woman can talk a man to lift up a car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
That's how that's a superpower.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And if you want something from a man, it's almost like this respect and appreciate him.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need no extra gifts.
Yeah.
And a woman's voice, and that's why I feel like
Can be on the negative side too.
oh yeah, because a woman's voice can destroy a man.
They can lift up the car. They can also like
destroy a man.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we talk about how negativity is social media, when you hear women speak about men, they're so putting them down. And it's even though she may not mean it towards us, but I'm reading it and it's affecting me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
As a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, because you never hear a man say, I don't need a woman.
No.
But you hear a woman say, I don't need a man.
You have heard that.
You see what I'm saying?
Songs about that. Yeah.
It's true. You never. So when y'all saying, oh, fuck it, oh, this and that, even though you're not meaning it towards me as a man, It's affecting me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I do need you.
Yeah.
Maybe not you and personally, but I need you. I need your speak. I need you.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what y'all thinking. So if y'all thinking this, there's more of you that think like this.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I know firsthand how powerful a woman's voice is, man. Like, you know, like I talked about folding towels, right?
Yeah.
Or emptying the dishwasher, or you know, just doing whatever chores I am doing around the house, even after I'm exhausted, even after I worked late. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing things all week. I know when my girl says, "Hey, thanks for setting the coffee pot." Bro, man, that changes my whole
It makes you want to jump
high.
It makes you
whole week.
What can I do more?
Bro, I feel like a Superman, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you can't help but feel that, like, that's all. That's it. That's all it takes. That's all you need. And it's unfortunate because I know there's a lot of guys out there that don't get that.
They don't
get that, and they're grinding, you know. And I had another guy. Shout out to Smashing Buttons, man. He was one of the first people to start commenting on my YouTube shows, and he had talked about, you know, how just like it was so relatable to him that he felt like I was like telling him like, "Hey, you're doing a good job. Keep going." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, so he said a really like heartfelt comment. So the next video I did, I mentioned his comment and gave him a shout out on the show. So then he sees that show and he left me a big comment. He was like, "You know, the stressful day I had, all the stuff I went through." He goes, "I had to do this. Then I got to build a swing set for my kids. And then my daughter had rehearsal, blah, blah, blah." He goes, "And then I come home, I finally get my feet up, it's 10:30 at night, put your show on, and hear you shout me out." Like, it's if you just get appreciated as a man, that's everything.
It. That's it. That's how we receive love, through appreciating and respect.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need no extra.
Yeah.
Just appreciating and respect. And I think women, as they get older, they have a better understanding of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we're not teaching this young generation that power that they have.
Yeah. Maybe someone needs to make a mom life with so and so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you go.
And that gave me that's a good segue to my next question to you.
Yeah.
Have you ever, and if you haven't, would you ever do a show on your show, do a show with your wife, talking about that dynamic?
I haven't thought about that yet. So just so everybody knows, I keep my kids off of YouTube, right? And actually, even before this, I had to go through and delete on my Instagram because I just recently changed my personal Instagram to my business Instagram. I had to delete a whole bunch of pictures of my kids, videos of my kids, because you know there's weirdos out there, man. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I like to keep my kids, you know, in their own little private world. You know what I'm saying? But I think that my wife loves what I'm doing. She fully supports what I'm doing, and she understands what I'm doing, man. Like, I'm doing something that's for dads. You know what I'm saying? Because like, there's lots of shows where you see how many talk shows where there's 5 women panelists, and they're all talking about whatever. How many shows you see dads having other dads on? Right. And so I made it a mission to make sure. And now, mind you, not everybody on my show has to be a dad, but it has to be a man that goes through some sort of stuff and needs a place to vent it out, a safe place to vent it out. You know what I'm saying? So far it has been all dads on my show. Yeah. But I think that's where I keep it, man. I keep it as just dads, you know, doing the thing. Not to say I'm not open to anything in the future, because I've only been doing this for almost not even 3 months yet.
Yeah.
So it's
actually, Davey, one thing you can do is just she can give you some questions, right?
Yeah.
Cute, you know, question and answers. She gives you questions. Not saying it's coming from her, but just say from a woman or a mom.
Yeah.
And then that's how she gets on your show without physically being on your show.
I'll tell you what, she's already on my show because there wouldn't be a Dad Life with Davey without her. And you know, she's a marketing professional. She actually works for the YMCA corporate office. Okay. She's the marketing director. If you ask anybody in the South Coast area, she is like the most well-known marketing person in business. And so she actually put me in touch with Linnell, who put me in touch with you guys, so got me on here. But she's always watching over me, man. Like, even if I'm hard-headed and can't think clearly, you know, like I posted a video the other day for that dude Terminology for the Dad Gang. It was a video about me working out and just trying to inspire other dads that, like, even though it feels like you have no time, you can still wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get something done. So the video I posted, I had some aggressive lyrics, you know what I mean? But that's what I used to work out. And my wife said, those lyrics are a little strong, like it's a little off brand, you know what I mean? And me being hard headed, man, I was like, nah, it needs to be shown, like it's part of me. And then I thought about it, I'm why am I putting that stuff out there? I'm creating a negative environment by using certain lyrics.
Right.
And I need to work on keeping my craft and keeping my brand what it is. So thank God for her, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I took it down. I only had 100 views, so I took it down quick. You know what I mean? And but it's little things like that, man. Like that shows me how much she cares. You know, like we're gonna be doing an event next month, and it's gonna be hosted by Groundwork, and that's all through the strength of her, man. Her network is crazy, and her ability to, plan events and market and things like that is.
It sounds like she's a woman that's a great communicator.
She's a better communicator than I am. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I mean, isn't there a saying like, if a man has a woman in his life, he can do whatever.
Yes.
Right?
You cannot be successful.
Yes, but every successful man has a woman.
A woman beside him.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
When I so I can tell this story real quick, right? So I got invited to go to a YouTube creators collective. So YouTube handpicks certain individuals that they think are doing good or going to do good, and they invite them out to this soiree or whatever. So I went out. It was in Boston, so I went up, and I got there, and hundreds of people that are from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm talking about, my boy, shout out to Dominican John. Dude's got 1 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like he's killing it. You know what I mean? And here I am. I got my little 4,000, 5,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
it's better than
it's
zero.
better than nothing.
Right.
And clearly they saw something they liked, so they picked me. So I knew I belonged there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I'm there the whole night, I brought, my stickers and I'm mingling with everybody and having a great time. And I'm telling you right now, by the time I left, every single person knew I was married.
Right.
Every single person knew I had kids. Everybody heard me say something about my wife. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because I feel like we're our biggest supporters.
It's called a legacy, man.
That's it, man.
Good
And I can't hide that. And I
Yeah.
feel bad for the brothers out there that don't have that woman in their life or have a woman that's beating them down, and because it happens, right?
Yeah.
Physically and mentally abusing a man, but I'm fortunate enough to have a situation where my woman can only uplift me, and that's all she ever wants to do. So I have to tell people that. I have to be like the number one advocate I'll be the poster child for that. And I'm not saying my relationship's perfect, man.
No, nothing's
I mess
perfect.
Up, every
Ain't
mess
nothing
up.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like there's days where we're both exhausted.
Yeah.
The baby's up all night. We ain't even talking to each other in the morning.
Yeah.
We're just going out.
You get on each other's nerve every now and then. Yeah.
But it's.
I told you to fold those clothes yesterday, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, like you wake up in this 5 baskets of laundry, man, and I guess I didn't film an episode last night. But it's that's what makes it beautiful, man. Because even with all those things, you still come back to the main reason why you're doing it, and it's because of love. You know what I'm saying? And the love gave us the kids. The love gave us what we have. We have our little house, our little family hub, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's my favorite part about it.
So I want to get say time because now this is me learning now.
Yep.
This is me learning because the people that know me very close, they always talk about what's my problem, and I always problem of I picked the wrong ones.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So I'm taking accountability for that.
Yeah.
All right? I'm picking the wrong ones.
Yeah.
So when you have conversations, like I like having conversations with people who are in relationships, but in long-term relationships. I love, like, there's so many times I have relationships with people who have been married, been together for over 40 years. You can learn, like how did you get there? Because I know that you guys don't love each other all for the whole 40 years.
Yeah.
So, but it all comes down to, probably some luck involved too, where you pick the right one.
Mm-hmm.
So go back.
Okay.
Before the kids.
Let's go. Way back.
All right, go back.
Yeah.
What was it that you saw that this is the one? This is the right one. What is it? What were you looking for? What did you see? And in what you saw and what you're looking for, did it end up being what you thought it would be?
So, and more, bro.
Okay.
And more. When I met my girl, it was my 18th birthday, man. And I was in college, man. Doing what college kids do. I was at Johnson Wales in Providence.
Yeah.
and I was drinking with my boy Tony, and he had got me a bottle of Jägermeister. I never had Jägermeister in my life. You know what I mean? I grew up in the hood, man. We didn't have no Jägermeister. It was Heineken and Corona.
That's it.
Henny. That's it. So
That's it. Dropped off a truck.
you know
right?
what I mean? Yeah. So he gave me one of those bottles. So we drank it, and I was feeling it, and we went back. We were living in the dorm at the time, so we went down the hall to visit some girl I knew. I think it was Sarah, and so we go in there. And I had just moved into the dorm. They had all been living there. I got kicked out of the other dorm for fighting because I was immature and I was young, you know what I'm saying? So I just came in, so I was the only girl I knew, so we went down in her room. And I swear, man, it was like a movie because I look over and here's my girl now, Kate. She's sitting in the chair on the floor. Her hair's all wet. She's doing homework. She got like a notebook. They're like having a study group. And I just remember like, yo, and I think I said to Sarah out loud, yo, you have hot friends? You know what I'm saying? Like that was it. Like I saw, it was like, I heard the movie, I heard the music, I heard the birds flapping. Like I seen her and I said, I need this woman. Like I need her.
Wow.
I chased her for a while, man. Like she just looked at me like, oh, this he's always getting, drunk or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? She didn't really, she was entertaining a little bit, but she kept turning me down. Like I asked to be my girl a couple of times. She said no. So then finally, it was, I think we were home for Christmas break. And I was riding around with my boys. And shout out to Mike Min and Arshak. I think I was in the back of my boy Arshak's car with my girlfriend at the time. And I don't even remember her name, to be honest, bro. That's how long ago it's been. So I remember I got a text from Kate saying like, hey, I came back to the dorm early because I got to go to work. She was working at the Providence Place Mall in Gap Body.
Yeah.
And she's like, are you around? I was like, I can be. I swear to God, I had my boy Arshak. I said, yo, pull the car over, man. Pull it. So he brought me downtown. And I looked at the girl I was with. I was like, yo, this ain't going to work out. And I shut the door and I bounced. And ever since then, ever since then, it's been on. You know what I mean? So that's how it shook down. And we've been hanging out ever since, man. And she's the only girl. Because, I started with girls at a young age, man. Like, I thought I was that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but she's the only girl that ever made me nervous. Yeah. Made me think about what I said before I said it.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to create an impact with her. I wanted to have my best foot forward when I spoke with her, man, and hung out with her, man. So, she brought a lot of positive things out of me, man. And that's when I knew, like, if you're with the right girl, she's making you better. Right. She's making you want to make yourself better. Right. She's not telling you what to do. Put this on so you'll look good. No, she makes you go, nah, I want to look the part. Right. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like,
Women, like, like even with their voice, their presence, man. Their presence, they give men status.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is, women need to understand that. Don't abuse this power.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Don't abuse this power. They abuse it a lot. They abuse the power of their voice, abuse the power of their presence. But think about it, goes, a man by himself is just a man. But if he has a beautiful, classy woman beside him, y'all giving that man so much status. That's why you see a lot of women be, who's that?
Right.
Because who he's with.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because if other women want your man, that is a compliment to you.
Yeah.
Not to your man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It ain't nothing to do with the man.
It has nothing to do with the man.
It's when they see you walk a certain way, man, it's because they know who's walking behind you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you could tell. You could
Yes.
tell, man. You see somebody with a certain type of confidence. It's because they're secure in their partner. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because their partner's giving that confidence.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because my partner respects me.
Yep.
I don't gotta worry about it. Because because he got this.
Right.
You're like, I'm gonna follow him.
Yeah.
But I still got a voice.
Yep.
Don't get it twisted. When they say follow, not mean like he has control over you.
Yeah.
You follow because he's protecting you. You're behind him. He's protecting you.
Yep.
But if you want to go left, you can just say left. You're going left.
I'm going left.
You know what I'm saying? But you're going left being protected.
Or run out of the car, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to get to the mall.
and I think women are trying so hard to be men, but your power is in your femininity, is being a woman, and you being a woman is giving us the power to be who we need to be as men.
So I do agree with you, but I do feel there are a lot of women out there that have to be men because there's not a man in their life taking care of their kids or providing or doing this. There's a lot of women that got to play both roles. Let's just be fair, right?
Yeah,
that's what I see sometimes.
Let's transition to next segment because let's get into it. All right,
let's go.
We know who Davey is now. This is a good dude in a good relationship.
Oh, yeah.
With kids, good father. Yeah. All right, Cassie Ventura.
Damn.
The Diddy trial. All right. I don't know if I want to open the phone line for this one because I don't know who's gonna be calling.
Open them up. It's gonna get spicy, man. It's gonna get spicy.
Okay, so we had the Diddy trial that started this week, and obviously the first person that went to the stand was for the prosecution and got cross-examined from the defense was Cassie Ventura, the ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs. And a lot of explicit things came out with this, with the freak off parties.
Yeah.
And what she was involved with and what she did and who she did it with and how many times and how mentally and physically abusive, Diddy was. And I have a little grief, a little issue here because please, and then, again, this is where I like being pushed back on if I'm wrong, right? What I see online with women, they're defending Cassie, okay? And dogging out Diddy. Yes, Diddy should be held accountable for what he did. No question. I am not trying to defend this guy at all.
Good, because this is going to be a different conversation, bro.
Yeah. It's a different conversation. It's a different conversation.
No doubt.
And this is where I feel like women are doing themselves a disservice because I believe that Cassie made a choice. Now, the choice that she made put her in a situation and gave Diddy the power where he abused his power, But it starts off where how can we avoid Cassie not even going through what she went through, all right? And I believe it's through choices. And why did she make these choices? For an example, she's done all kinds of crazy sexual things, and it sounds like she was willing for the most part, all right? But let me ask you this question. If I met Cassie, me, regular old Joe.
Her name's Berto.
Will Cassie do those things for me?
You don't got P. Diddy money, man.
Yeah.
That's it. We know that. We all know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have P. Diddy status.
All right. And those, like, people would have came out in the public and said that's what she did for me, and someone that's that regular average Joe or average Berto would have came out with those stories already. They said, oh, she's always been like that. She was like that in high school, college, whatever she did. So,
but I look at it as the reason she, again, let's start from the beginning. She was with Ryan Leslie, who was a producer, but he wasn't Ryan Leslie yet, right? She cheated on Ryan Leslie to get with Diddy. All right? She gets with Diddy, right? So she's leveling up. She get with Diddy because Diddy's Sean Diddy Combs, bad ride record entrepreneur.
She jumped out of the car too and went to the mall.
She wanted that lifestyle. Now, why 10 years? She's like, I think in the beginning, she was down until she wasn't down. Right? And it's because now I feel like she needs to be a little bit accountable of her choices. When you're completely saying that she's a victim, you're doing a disservice for the younger girls coming up because you're not holding her accountable for her reckless behavior. So now girls gonna grow up and be like, all right, I can make those choices for those same reasons that she did, and then they're gonna put themselves in that situation with the same type of monster. You understand what I'm saying? Am I wrong saying that? Like, what's your perspective?
I mean, I feel like it's like someone that does drugs, right? Like the first time they do it, they made the choice to do it, right? Which is wrong. They should have never done that, right? So she made the choice to do that, get involved with Diddy or do stuff that she shouldn't have done, right? But I feel like after that, from what I'm seeing, like I feel like Diddy groomed her a little bit. You know, there was drug use, there was this and that, and it snowballed to a place that maybe she didn't want to be. And again, so I'm like you. I'm reading these things. I'm looking at these different. I'm reading people's opinions and trying to get like the facts or get some solid stuff or whatever. But did she enjoy it, or was she like drugged up to do it? Was she afraid of Diddy abusing her physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever? So I don't know. I mean,
Probably all of that.
Why are we looking at it that way though?
Well, I mean, we seen a video. She was abused, so we gotta say that. All right, that was probably not the first, and
Right.
No, it wasn't.
probably the last. But you gotta say, yeah, she is a victim because we firsthand saw it. So at least in this time, I mean,
she might have been afraid to like end up in a hole, right? Get killed or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what he's threatening her with. To you better,
Well, why do we feel like he threatened her?
Well, I mean, it's Diddy, so you know what happened to Biggie Smalls. So don't people already assume
Right.
Yeah.
he has that sort of
And
power?
that's
You know what I'm
almost
saying?
yeah.
But that same thing that y'all fearing is attracting her to him.
Absolutely.
So
That
why
bad
are
boy
we
image.
skipping over that?
What do you mean? Say it again.
The same thing that she's probably feared
Yeah.
is what she's attracted.
She's attracted to that bad boy
Yeah.
image.
Yeah.
That bad boy image.
Yeah.
You see it, but we're skipping over that because if she's not like it's almost like I'm seeing a trend here. You're seeing it with Shannon Sharp. Y'all even seeing it in the R. Kelly situations. Y'all seeing it with Bill Cosby. These are all younger girls seeing it, predominantly men, and they know what they're doing, looking for a better life. These are young girls. These are 21-year-old girls, and they're saying, I'm going to go with this older man.
Yeah, but we talk about Cosby. That dude was dropping things in people's Coca-Cola.
Yeah, he was.
All right, maybe not Cosby.
He's a very bad example.
All right, maybe. But I think that there's a. I know I'm going to get reamed over this, but I want to make uncomfortable conversation to learn is it's because I'm not excusing Diddy. I'm not.
Yep.
But I'm trying to protect women again. I want you to make a better choice in who you choose.
Hell yeah.
And if y'all going into it because this man got money, he got status and this and that.
It's the wrong
Like, there's a lot of things that man. There's a lot of things like Hugh Hefner had women do because he was Hugh Hefner.
For the money, like
For the money, for the lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Why are we skipping that? Why are we not talking about that?
We got a comment by Lionel. He said, I don't know why folks are surprised at this industry and everything that comes with it. The entire situation is bad when folks lose their integrity for the fleeting nature of fame and money.
Yes.
It's easy to give into those vices. There is a ton of nuances to abuse and layouts of power and control over folks. You'd be surprised how quickly abuse can become normalized on someone.
Yes.
And I've lived that. I lived that with my mom and my dad. So I got a 5 stars for that comment, Lionel.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that everybody's making Cassie the total victim. And I'm not saying she's not a victim, but she also has some accountability. There's a reason why she is testifying against Diddy right after a case that she just won and got $20 million from.
Yeah, I mean, I truly think she's a co-defendant too. So everything that you're saying about P. Diddy, she can be charged.
She can be charged too because she was right next to him. This whole thing. When you say racketeering, like what's the meaning? Charlie, what is racketeering? Like what is that term?
It's a common. I know I'm gonna get this wrong, but it's racketeering is based on. How am I gonna get this right? The it's a collaboration of one or two people for the. I'm gonna.
I think it has
quote
to be
this.
more than one.
Yeah, it's more than one.
It can't just be one.
It's definitely because he can actually say something like there's this situation where he had told someone to light a car on fire. I forget
Yeah.
the dude's name, and the car was on fire. That's part of racketeering where he's delegating something to someone else based on something that he wants done.
But it's not racketeering if he don't have others following his words of what to do.
No.
So, like she could be charged with sex trafficking and racketeering. So they're giving her immunity to go on stand, right? So, because they probably have evidence that she was a willing participant.
She went after, she got some of these male escorts to show up, right? So she was part of part of that business.
Yeah, it's organized criminal activities that involve setting up a coordinated scheme operation repeatedly, collecting illegal profits, often through extortion, fraud, bribery, or violence. The term is commonly associated as racketeering or corrupt organization, as called RICO. Sorry.
But I mean, the fact that was like a drug dealer, say, right? They're going to give someone immunity to get the big dog. Right. So
yeah, and that's how they tie with mafia. And
right. So they're letting Cassie go, right? They'll give her immunity, so they get the big guy, which is Diddy.
So was she a victim?
I think in a lot of ways she was.
I mean, she said she told the prosecutor, "I'll testify as long as I have immunity," and that's what she's doing right now. Because there's more than enough situations where they talk about stuff she did for him. After having or during sex, this willing participation on her part. So
there's text messages where she's not being forced to do this.
But the thing is, the angle that everyone's looking, especially prosecutors, she could say, "I've been abused. I was in fear."
But is that true or not, though?
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
sometimes she turns it on and off, right?
Yeah,
I'm in fear today. Tomorrow. Guess what?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is and that's where I don't think that's fair, where you gotta balance it where it's like, I'm sure she was a willing participant till she wasn't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now she isn't. Now Diddy's the monster.
Yeah. Well, she's playing their cards right. Good poker player, right?
And that's where it's not fair. You're like, and it's not fair to a point where these younger girls are watching this coming up, and women are saying that she's the victim. So these girls are saying, okay, I can live a reckless life and I won't be held accountable. I can make bad choices.
That's where I was
That's wrong.
That's where I was at with
it. Raising kids. Like that's and you see it, I'll see it through social media all week. Oh, poor Cassie. She was making a choice.
Well, this case is getting big.
It's getting big.
One of the things, like Lionel mentions about the Epstein files, right? And that's already getting tied into all this. What is Diddy going to say? And but I'm pretty sure that Cassie can say just as much as Diddy's saying, because his 11-year history, right? People forget they were together 11 years.
Yeah.
I think. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think, raising a daughter. I have a daughter. I mean, she's nowhere near Cassie's age. Right? She's 4, but I think starting out at a young age, you need to instill in them the type of man they're going to go after, or the type of woman. You know what I mean? It's 2025. We don't discriminate.
Yeah.
But the type of person they should look towards spending time with, and the circle they should have around them, because that directly affects a woman even more so than a man. You know what I mean? Because she could be in the middle of a group. Maybe there's 4 males and 1 other female. Who has the physical power in that group, right? The males. You know what I'm saying? So you can almost fall into any sort of trap or any sort of instigation or stuff that these males are doing. You know what I mean? And I think it's important to let these young ladies know that these aren't lifestyles you want to chase.
No.
You don't want to have to be grabbing on the coattails of some musician because he gets big bucks and he gets a lot of face time. You should be the one where guys are trying to grab onto your coattails and get your attention and try to get more publicity off your situation. That's the type of woman that we should be trying to raise. Not the other way around. So
It's almost
I
like when she was saying she got upset because she really spent holidays with Diddy. Diddy will go with his baby mother. Why do you think? Maybe because he respected her more?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right?
Yeah.
Maybe you respected more. Maybe you was just fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe like, all right, this is my baby mother. She wasn't doing these freak offs. Right?
Yeah.
He respected her more. Where you wasn't, and she probably got butthurt over it.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But he's treating you like this because of the choices you're making.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we can't talk about that because some women will get butthurt. But I'm just saying this because I want to protect women. I want to protect these young girls coming up and not have that mindset that it's okay to live a reckless lifestyle because you're not going to be held accountable. Where you may held accountable. I don't want to be held accountable with your life because you chose to be with the wrong freaking dude.
Yeah. It was fun. Now you're in some hot water. Now you're the victim.
Yeah. Now you're the victim.
Yeah.
But your your choices got you there. Now he's still wrong. He's still wrong, and he should be accountable.
Yeah.
But so should she.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, she's not an angel in all this, but I feel like from a woman's point of view, and obviously I'm not a woman, but like Tina Turner. There's a lot of women that have been in relationships that they didn't know how to get out of. Abusive relationships. Physically abusive relationships did not know how to get out of. And they stayed there for years. And everyone on the outside is like, oh, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just get up and leave? They either, one, didn't have the courage, didn't have the strength, or just, was afraid to leave because they were.
But I'm not looking at once they're in it. Now, once you're in it and the abuse and manipulation, okay, the conversation is totally different. It's the beginning.
Yeah, so that's thing is like, because I'm trying to like figure this out too.
Yeah.
The beginning of her relationship, it might not have been like that. He might have like groomed her a little bit at a time. You start doing like this little drug, then you do this bigger drug. So was it something
No,
like that?
It was a recording deal.
Yeah, no, but it was.
Right, okay.
If P did, like that's why I use myself an example. If take Diddy out and put me in, is she coming with me?
Yeah.
No.
So I want to know who else.
No, she's not. So her reason, you know what I'm saying? If I'm a regular Joe, now mind you, Diddy's 17 years old? Like how old? He's older than her. She was like 19, 20. He was like 18 years older than her, right?
Yeah.
So he's 18 years older than her, right? Okay. At 19, all right. Why do you think she's going with Diddy? Why is not staying with Ryan Leslie? Ryan Leslie is a big entrepreneur, music producer now. He wasn't Ryan Leslie back then.
But that is the perfect age, and I'm not just all about defending Cassie, but that's the perfect age for grooming. 19 years old,
you can't. That's why we have to have this conversation so these girls at this age make better choices for better reasons. We can't excuse
I
it.
completely agree with that.
And same thing with Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe is like, oh, he's 50-something years old. This girl's 22. Yeah. So everybody's excusing her because she's 22 and Shannon Sharpe is 57. She made a choice.
But
right?
I also think too, like some of these people, man, they master manipulators.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like a guy like P. Diddy, man, like he got to his status, he got to where he was because he manipulated the system.
No, 100%. 100%.
He produced albums by manipulating people to get them to do what he needed to do. Right. I mean, we all know, like I talked about Biggie Smalls earlier, we'll talk about him again. You don't think he was manipulating Biggie Smalls until maybe Biggie Smalls got hit?
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's probably why he got shot down.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, there's all kind of, I know people, because let's be real, we all grew up listening to P. Diddy.
Yeah.
We all listen to all the, Money More Problems.
Yeah.
You know, come on, man.
Yeah.
The
Bad Boy era was a crazy era, yeah.
But all these artists, man, like, Diddy was manipulating them, man. And he was getting richer and fatter than all of them.
And this is, I live by I tell this on my show. I live by a creed of mine. This is my own personal creed. The more money you have, the less I'm going to trust you. Because you're going to be all about your money versus your moral. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of people lose their morals when they get in a different tax bracket. You see what I'm saying? So it's that's how I feel. I see it. Maybe people see it totally different. But if you're like to become a multimillionaire, billionaire, you can't be a nice guy.
No.
So Derek, we're
There's
pretty
no way.
safe now, right? Berto's
Yeah.
gonna trust us, right?
You can't be a nice guy. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like you gotta hurt. You're gonna hurt people in some type of way to get to that status.
And I think that's what he did. I think he hurt.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
you said,
he did.
I think in the beginning it seemed like a fun party. Yo, come with me.
Yeah.
I'll get you the record deal. I'll get you the recognition. We'll blow up your social media feeds. And then that led into him turning it into what it turned into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't fully think she made that choice. I think that choice was made for her. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
He might have said, "That's the one I want. Get her in my limo tonight."
Yeah.
And then,
But she went because that was Diddy. If that was Bert Okada, she ain't getting that.
going. No, you're right.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
And so we need to teach these women to stop chasing the status, chasing the money. Because I'm telling, like, I believe now. Look, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're like, and I had a conversation with someone who was on the status, before, and I asked him. I said, I want you. Am I wrong thinking this? And he was like, if you're a 20-year-old, 21, 22, 23, whatever, is approaching you, right? You're in VIP, you're in this lifestyle that's surrounded, and you see this girl come to get your attention, wanting to be with you, beside you. Do you know why that girl likes you? And he said, yes. Not because she likes how I look.
No, it's because you're VIP.
Who I am.
Yeah.
That's why when you're in VIP, you want to be standing, you want everybody to see because you get that status, and I want to be over there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we, as men, we see that girl coming. Oh, I know why you want me. Right? All right. And I see I like you. I'm letting you close to me. I know why I like you, and I know why I want you.
Yeah.
Is this based on experience?
Huh?
Is this based on experience?
But I'm peeping game. That, like, so women think that I'm really playing this dude.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
We know why you want to be with us. But, all right, I know what I want from you. You already telling on yourself.
So it's working out for both.
That's why they both should be accountable in some type of way. Now, I don't agree with the abusiveness. I don't.
Right, so-
I think he should be accountable for that. But he's not on court for domestic abuse. He's on court for sex trafficking and racketeering.
But it all started out with status. Right? We got the NBA wives.
Yeah.
Right? They're all divorced from their husbands, but they're
All
NBA
status.
wives.
Yeah. So I mean, I do feel like there's a good chunk that was her age and how we conditioned her. Because if I'm 18 years old, okay, and if 37-year-old J-Lo wants me to go, I'm like, all right, let's, you know what I'm saying? I'm stopping what I'm doing and I'm gonna go check that out. Right? So it's the same thing. She did the same thing.
Well, you made a choice.
We all would make that choice. But then it became like the drugs.
It doesn't
and
excuse
the
you though.
coercion and all stuff like that. I think it escalated to.
Let me ask you: y'all 18 years old, right? And you make that choice for the reason you just said. Then you have someone who's 30 years old and made the same reason for the same choice for the same reason. What's the difference?
But we're not talking about someone that's 30 years old.
But what's the difference between a 19-year-old and a 30-year-old?
Because I think a 19-year-old can be easily manipulated and groomed by a 30-year-old.
But they're making the choices for the same reason.
No,
Well,
I think the choice that I was making at 19
Uh-huh.
was definitely not the choices that I'm making right now at 30.
Yeah, you said that
But
earlier. Remember?
you're not making the choices for the same reasons for the same reason.
Yeah.
So if you have a 30-year-old beautiful woman, gorgeous, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Diddy because he's a millionaire, this and that, so on. So you got a 19-year-old who's gorgeous, beautiful. I'm gonna go with Diddy because it's the same reason because of Diddy. What's the difference? They're still making the choices for the same reason, and they're both bad choices.
But the difference is, so I want to know, well, who are the other women? So I want to know about J-Lo in this piece, because the thing is, he probably couldn't manipulate J-Lo to do those things, but he could Cassie because she was 19 and young and very impressionable. He couldn't get away with that with other women.
I think that we need to really understand the society we live in today. We got a lot of 20-year-old, 21-year-olds on OnlyFans. Go check out Instagram. Yeah. Go on Instagram and how these girls are showing off their bodies. They're doing it because they're not held accountable of these things. They're putting themselves in a position where it's possibly that they could come across the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to stop saying, oh, because she's 19. Oh, because But it's okay for them to go on OnlyFans and show off their body.
Yeah, but just correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know that much about OnlyFans. But isn't it just them showing off their body and getting money? It's not sexual.
Yes, some of it is.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
OnlyFans. There's different things you can be on OnlyFans.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it's like you go on OnlyFans and they can do some sexual acts. Not all of them do it.
Yeah.
But that's how it started, and now they're making money. For the same reason she made the choice of being with Diddy is the same reason why girls are going to OnlyFans, because it provides them with a certain lifestyle, because they're making so much money. But as women, like, you gotta understand that you may come across men, and usually men are stronger than you, that can manipulate you, abuse you, and this is just me speaking because I want to protect women, and I just wanted to make better choices of who you're dealing with. I'm not trying to dog her out or trying to make an excuse for Diddy, but I don't want to see another Cassie Ventura.
No, absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, how we eliminate that? Make Diddy accountable. But also, don't give Cassie an excuse for her choices.
Yeah.
On that note, it's 8:43.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what you want to do.
So what?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah. What do you think about J-Lo and all this? Because kind of simultaneously, when this shit started coming out, Ben Affleck divorced her.
Did that happen at the same time?
It's kind of like the same. Yeah.
And
they got back together not too long, and then all of a sudden this stuff came out. He was like, "Yo,
you saying J-Lo was part of the freak off?"
I don't know. I want to know.
Who knows, man?
Right?
You know, this is.
No, her name did come up.
I think we need to step. Like, think about this freak offs. Like, the Playboy Mansion. That was a freak off.
Oh,
what was going? That was sex trafficking, because where are these girls coming from? They weren't coming from California, where the Playboy Mansion is. They were coming from other states. So you could say that sex trafficking. There was a lot of teenagers or younger girls in that Playboy Mansion. You ain't charging Hugh Hefner with sex trafficking or racketeering.
Well, they said that he was, in a relationship. He was taught by somebody, in the industry. I'm sorry.
He was what?
That P. Diddy was taught the way to do things.
Yeah,
was it all Davis, Mr. Davis?
Yeah,
Kai Davis. Yeah. So it's someone started, and it could be Hefner.
I think it's the industry.
It could have been Hefner.
In general, it's like this is this is what goes on in the industry. I just think that Diddy pissed off the wrong person,
and then someone exposed him.
Well, they talk about his the liquor company. Remember?
Company,
Yeah. That's. He wanted a little bit more money, and they said, "No, we're not having it."
Because you're right. This has been going on for forever.
Years.
Even like Epstein, and that's sex trafficking, and a lot of it is Hollywood, whatever. So I don't know,
This is what I'm saying. Let's look more deep into it. And so you have men like this that are doing stuff to women like this to help. It's not going to cure the issue, but to help the issue. Women, don't do yourself a disservice and excuse women's reckless behavior. Keep on going at Diddy's neck. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, yo, if y'all like going at Diddy, like going at Cassie, y'all an asshole. No, it's like, I'm trying to protect you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just seen on social media where it's like, you have a daughter. Yeah. The first thing I'll be pissed off, what the fuck you doing with that dude?
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, when my daughter's of age, I'm gonna know exactly whose house she's at, whose parents that person is. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand why people get away from that.
It's like you said, dad for life, right?
Yeah, man. It's like it's dad life, bro. When my son is playing Fortnite, because he's 7, right? He's playing Fortnite. I know the parents of the people he's playing Fortnite. I'm texting, his son's his friend's dad saying, "Yo, can you get your little man on Fortnite? My son's trying to play."
Yeah.
Like, you're not going off, and I think it's scary because of social media makes it that way. Kids can go off and get lost in their bedroom, and you don't even know. No. So you need to be on top of that. Bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that I'm gonna have to say it just because you brought this up, because we talk about like this younger generation and like the trouble that they're in, or the lack of. To me, I feel like a lot of it is the lack of parenting at home, the lack of a father figure, what have you.
That's a conversation,
right? Yeah. So when you say, you check out your kids' Fortnite and stuff like that, that is so key. And there are so many parents that they're not doing stuff like that. Yeah. They're not parenting, and then these kids go get lost. By the time they're 12, 13, 14 years old,
It's too late.
they're down a hole, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know.
And good luck trying. It's almost like then you got to try to get to know your kid all over again.
Right.
And I would never want to be in that situation. Mind you, my kids are little. Like I'm speaking now. Maybe in 10 years I'm gonna have a different conversation.
Right.
But I like to think, knowing that stuff now, I'm gonna try my best to prevent it going down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like me. I'll be scared not to put fear into you.
No.
But I'll
There's
be
plenty of fear being a dad.
Yeah.
I will be scared to have to be a girl dad.
Yeah. That's what I'm most
That's
terrified
me all
of. You
day.
see these gray hairs?
Yeah.
I didn't have no gray hairs with my first son. I had a daughter, boom, popped
Hey,
up
can I-
gray
It's
hair.
different, man. It's
Can I warn
different.
you?
It's
Can I warn
different.
Dude, it hasn't even started.
Hey,
It's different.
you,
When
you,
you
I
say
appreciate
I'm going through,
you see my beard compared to yours. There's a lot of gray over
Yeah,
there.
like, and I get it. Like, I totally, like, again, I was in a relationship and she had a daughter, and I was so protective of that. Like
Yeah.
every little, like, yo, because you just know what's out there,
Yeah.
and you know the crazies are out there. You're just like,
Yeah.
it's not even my kid, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm like, yo.
But listen, there is a double standard. I got one of each.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 100% to me. There's a double standard, right? Like, you know, you don't want some dude with your girl, but if your son a little bit, you kind of like, you know,
Yeah, it's different.
You might roll your eyes, look,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's definitely a double standard.
I understand.
It is a double standard, but
I'm not saying it's right, but
Yeah.
it's
it's your
that's
girl.
what it is.
It's
Like,
your baby girl.
Yeah.
as men and women, we're equal, but we're different.
We're different.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
different, and that's what it is. And
Yeah.
it's having a daughter.
It's crazy.
God bless both y'all.
I
Three
know.
y'all. Like, Jesus, that's tough, man.
I know having a daughter, I also don't want to be that overbearing dad
Yeah.
that makes
Pushes
that
away,
little
yeah.
girl wild out.
Right.
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Like
Right.
I don't want to come off and sound like I'm gonna be the strictest dad in the world to her. I'm gonna know where she's at, and stuff, but like you have to be careful with that, because if you push too hard, they're gonna rebel.
They go in a different direction. But I will say, like, it sounds like, you know, you got a great relationship with your wife. Kids learn so much from that dynamic that I feel, you know, I mean, I'm talking for myself too a little bit with my two kids. I feel they make good decisions when they're brought up the right way. I'm not saying they can't go rogue. I'm not saying they don't make bad decisions. I mean, me and my ex-wife, like, we caught my son with like alcohol at a young age, right? So these are the things kids always try to, like, because, you know, they're at school with other friends, they want to, like, try this, so they you know, peer pressure, stuff like that. So, you know, that's something we had to deal with. But those are like little stages. I feel like when they get out of that, you know, they make good decisions based on how they're raised.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I feel.
Yeah.
But you know what is what I know about you, Derek, and this could be a lesson to even as your daughter goes. You have a great relationship with your daughter. You know, you have a good rapport with your daughter, where I'm sure you have like, she's comfortable to have conversations with you, and that's what's important. And y'all probably the prime example where whatever man she chooses, he has to have a lot of qualities about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong saying
You know,
that?
I do.
Because don't little girls, they look towards in a man qualities from their father. Just like men look towards qualities that they have in their mother.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that like how it goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter actually sent me a text the other day. You know, because I'm doing her a room over, which whatever, I'm handy, whatever. Right? But, you know, I'm doing a room over, and she's like, you know, how am I ever gonna, like, meet someone like you that can, like, does so much for me or whatever?
She already knows.
She's already knows. That's a quality that man has to have. That's what it is.
But that's good.
That's real good.
Yeah.
That's showing you those things that y'all influence on her is gonna help her make better choices.
Have standards.
Right, standards. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, you got to get them when they're younger to instill some type of characteristics to make better choices, so she don't end up with a person like a Diddy. Because I'm sure Diddy has his demons that he got to deal with how he grew up.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, and then that's a good question. Like, what is your childhood like to really decide on a woman that you chose, right? And have this mindset of just being like, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, You know, that's why I inspire, and that's what's cool to me, because not a lot of men grow up to be that.
Yeah, I know.
So how was you raised? Like,
so I was raised, you know, I'm Cape Verdean, you know what I mean? That's on, you know, shout out to all my CVs out there, you know what I mean? But we had a big family, and we were a very close family, you know what I'm saying? So my mom and dad were both in my house when I was a kid. I mean, my dad at one point in time worked 4 jobs, so we didn't see him, you know what I mean? Like, and my mom would work overnights. So, you know, we had a lot of family members that would help and take care of us. My grandparents, my you know, aunts, cousins. And it was me and my brother, and we had 4 cousins that were always tagging along because they had some broken home situations, you know. And it's unfortunate because a lot of my family is passed on now. You know what I mean? My uncles, my older cousins, they're all in the grave due to drugs, alcohol, and things like that. But in my house, my dad, one thing I never saw him ever do was drink alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, well, he'll drink now. He'll drink a beer now. And the other thing I always saw him do was take care of the house and take care of my mom. You know what I'm saying? And they're split up now as adults. But we didn't see that when I was a kid. I mean, they would bicker, they would fight with, you know, they're 2 Cape Verdeans married to each other, so you can imagine the fireworks in my house.
Yeah.
But having that image of 2 parents, you know what I'm saying? And whether it was the perfect image or not, I saw 2 parents. And what I always wanted to do was do just that. You know what I mean? And it's one thing to think about it, but then it's another thing to actually do it. So once I met my girl, then I realized, oh, it's possible.
Yeah.
I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So I had the idea, but until I met her, I didn't know that that's what I was going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, at 18, I wasn't planning on settling down at 18.
Yeah.
I was trying to play the field, do my thing. I was in college. I was young. And she changed my whole world, bro. You know what I mean? So
that's awesome. Yeah. But I think there's I mean, I think I heard this sometime before. Like, if your father's a drug dealer or like a drug addict, whatever, you could very likely become a drug addict too, or go the opposite direction. Yeah, like, you're generally going to do because you see it, how the father's growing up. You're like, yo, I am not going down the road. So you do the opposite, or you follow the path that he did. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I rebelled when I was a kid, man. Like, I seen my dad didn't drink, my dad didn't smoke weed, so what was I gonna do? I drank and smoked weed, man. I was like, oh, he don't know nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when I got into my own trouble, I was like, oh, maybe he was right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe I gotta actually take accountability for my own situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, so I learned that way. You know what I mean? Can I one more thing? Yeah.
All right, after you, Derek. Go ahead.
I just want to think about your daughter or whatever. Yeah. Like, for me, I have a great relationship with my daughter, but like, there was times where you said you can push your kids away, like if you're too overbearing. Yeah, that is 100% true. Because there's times that, like, you know, and again, I advocate for co-parenting, and I talk to a lot of people about, like, you know, they haven't just. My boy, listening is gonna love this because he's a huge supporter for co-parenting. Yeah, so I feel like I'm a good role model for it because I feel like we have done a great job with it. But there's times where, like, my daughter, that I would want to, like, push back or question or get in her face or be like, you know, whether it's guys or whatever, right? But my ex-wife would be telling me having a phone conversation, hey, you know, and I would back off so that I don't push her away. So we've always had a great relationship, but I've always knew when to, like, put the brake on, ease up a little bit. Yeah, but I also had my co-parent always kind of in my ear with stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So it takes 2 people to raise good kids, I feel. I think it does too. I don't think that. I think it's possible for one person to do it. 100%, single moms, single dads out there for sure. 100%. But I think in an ideal situation, I mean, at least from sounds like what we're experiencing, 2 people makes the dream work, bro. Right. You know what I mean? Like, or at least makes it a lot easier.
The system is not built for one person to raise a child.
No, well, it's a village. I mean, like I just said, I was raised by a village. Yeah. Not just my mom, right? Because my mom and dad had me when they were young, man. They were 20 years old. Yeah. And so I had a lot of older people around me. I mean, we lived in my dad's aunt's house when I was a kid. You know what I mean? We lived in the projects when I was a kid. Like, you know, when you live in the projects, that whole neighborhood is your family. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this grandma's hanging out the window watching you. I mean, like, that's how it goes. You know what I mean? So
that's actually like how New Bedford, you know, it's changing a little bit because we're growing, but back in the day, that's how New Bedford was. Just, like the village was a city.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I can go from the west end to the south end, and my mother knows.
So that's what Lionel said. It takes a village.
Yeah, everybody's
You know, I knew where you was. How'd you know? Because
Yeah.
so and so saw this and that. So
my mom and dad said to me all the time, "What was you doing over there?" My dad, "What was you doing in Kennedy Plaza?" What do you mean? Yeah, so and so was watching. He's seen you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I already know.
Yeah.
That's what Lionel said. He said it takes a village, and the village needs revival.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so
we're
on
here, bro.
point.
Dad Life with Davies here, and I'm telling you right now, because of the attention I'm getting on my YouTube channel, I have no choice but to bring my city with me, man.
There you go.
New Bedford is my city. I've been in New Bedford longer than I've been out of New Bedford. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I'm tapping in with everybody who's local and everybody that's doing positive things and bringing a lot of good impact to the city. So that's my mission. That's why I'm here. You know what I mean? So,
Glad to have met you.
I have one request.
Go ahead.
One request. I would like to see Derek Demers on Dad for Life or Dad Life.
Ooh.
Okay.
That would be a good
I think
conversation.
we can do that.
Yeah,
I think we can do that.
that
for
would
sure.
be a good.
We're
good,
friends
good.
on Instagram now, so
Yeah,
that's right,
yeah,
that's
we
right.
can definitely make that happen.
So, all right, let's get to end this. I gotta know. Is this the end? Yes, this is the end of another episode of the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. Let's have our final thoughts. D, what you thinking, man?
I thought it was a good show. Glad to meet Davey. I love listening to different people's perspectives, especially about parenting and kids. I love kids, love being a dad. It's what I'm most proud of. There's nothing else in the world. You know, I just had my daughter just graduate. I was like, you know.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, big deal. You know what I mean? I love being a dad. So it was great to hear your stories and you know, I follow you now on Instagram. Another great show. I'm glad we talked about Diddy because it's stuff I've been reading. Charlie sent this thing, you know, like listen to on my headphones now, like, you know, all these different recordings, you know, whatever. So, like,
There's a lot there.
You get addicted to it.
We got 8 weeks of it. It's only the first week. Yo,
It's
it's
like
a lot.
it gets addictive. You know,
Every day you get a new one.
and
Every day.
I will say, it's kind of nice sometimes when we don't talk politics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've had a little break from it now, so
Yeah.
it feels good to, you know, to do other stuff.
Yeah. Charlie, what do you have to say? Final thoughts?
Well, I just shout out to the community that's watching Frequency Live. Thanks to you, we have Davey on this show, you know, and Lionel Walker, I appreciate you. Jamie Lynn, I appreciate your input when you told us about your friend here. And everything they say about you, man, is 5 stars. I keep up the good work on your channels, and I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, Dave, what do you have to say, brother?
I mean, thank you so much for having me on. This is my first time ever doing a radio show, a live show, so I appreciate it. Thank you. And like I said, man, Dad Life with Davey, we're here. You know, we're in New Bedford, and we're trying to bring New Bedford up. We got an event coming up at the end of next month. So I'll pass it on to you guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can get it out
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Help other people that are aspiring to create their art and get things shown to a greater audience. So, which this is going to be a great audience.
Yeah.
This is going to be nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
I enjoy this show. I enjoy conversations. It was more for me. It was more of a lesson not having kids, and I like having these conversations just so I can learn. You know, and having guests like you that is sharing your experiences and your mindset and also give me some hope.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
that's
yeah,
it,
you
bro.
can-
That's it.
Hey, Berto, start.
Yes.
Give me some hope.
Hey, start tonight.
It is possible. It is possible.
Start tonight, Berto, so we can have an anniversary next year. 2026, Berto.
But we would love to have you back on. You know, we can schedule another time to come back on a later date. I want to appreciate you. Tell the people your handle. So
So it's Dad Life with Davey on everything. So I got lucky. It's Dad Life with Davey on YouTube, Dad Life with Davey on Instagram, TikTok. I stay on Facebook. I gotta keep one thing private for myself. But if you Google Dad Life with Davey, I'm the first 6 things that pop up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
all right, so we have another episode. We'll be back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp. Charlie, don't knock off when we get off air. Don't knock off the radio station. We could do the restream because I want to end it with a song, so it'll be a better transition.
Mhm.
But we'll be back here Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
isn't it? All right, so
Yeah,
I might come a little tipsy.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it.
You earned it, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
earned it, man.
I might come in. Because that sounds like day potty vibes for me, yo.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. But now we'll be back because we took enough time off between the last couple of weeks, my vacation and Mother's Day. So we'll be back here next week. I want to say, Davey, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you.
Yes.
I know a lot of people will go on this feed over the week and really, the ones that didn't listen to live and listen to it and get a lot from it. So thank to our listeners, thank to our watchers. I'm going to play this song. It's a remake from ICU, Coco Jones, Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake showed some soul in this song. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Good night.
I like that you picked Coco Jones. Oh, yeah. Word.
Thank you, man.
That was dope, man. That was cool as hell.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was fun.
Yeah. Yo, you don't know how nervous I was before we got on, man.
Everybody says that and then
Straight up.
it just goes away.
Yo, it's like,